please.
Thank you. Naomi Schwartz, followed by William, please forgive me, Spiegelhalter? Yes. All right, not bad.
I'm Naomi Schwartz, and I've lived in Wallala for 30 years, and I am in favor of the project as it stands, although I can understand the opposition concerns. I would like to read from a letter from Michael J. Bauer, a university-trained plant ecologist, and Mr. Bauer's eldest son. Reading from the staff report for this project in its entirety, I cannot help but feel sad. The number of times potential impacts were not only mitigated, but also proposed to be improved far beyond current degraded conditions is staggering. From removing the very abundant, exotic, and invasive plants which currently threaten the remnant native plants on the bluff, and replacing them with natives with a true commitment to maintain them, to reducing not only runoff pollution from proposed excavation site, but surrounding development as well. This project goes above and beyond what is required for project approval. I felt sad while reading the staff report because I sympathized with the project opponents that want to preserve the natural beauty of our waterfront. On the other hand, I don't feel that they have truly or adequately looked at all the dimensions of the project, such as the potentially catastrophic parking issues that affect many downtown businesses, or the alleviation of potential environmental disasters like septic tanks spilling into our estuary because of uncorrected debris flows. Every time I visit my hometown of Wallala, I walk the Wallala Bluff Trail, and as I'm sure others have, appreciate the work that RCLC has done to build and maintain the Bluff Trail. However, the quality of the habitat adjacent to the trail is very low, both from a human aesthetic perspective and from a wildlife vegetation perspective. Aside from the native plantings done by RCLC, most of what a bluff walker experiences is exotic and, for a plant ecologist like myself, extremely ugly. I'm going to skip down. This project is indeed more than what has been described in the staff report. It represents the rejuvenation of a degraded waterfront and the efforts of a man wholly invested in the town he grew up in, worked in all his life in, and will retire in, and who, against all odds, is determined to do a project right. That means with long-term consideration, abiding all rules and regulations, and with a commitment to improve the town of Wallala, as evidenced by numerous other projects restoring old and aging structures without monetary profit. This is the right project at the right time by the right party. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Spiegelhalter, followed by Bob Rue de Mulher.
Members of the board, I'm William Spiegelhalter. I'm representing the 5 businesses that you see located on the map there that are parallel to and in between Highway 1 and the bluff. We are north of and next to Surf Super. I believe you have the names of our businesses there. I can list them if you need to. If not, I can.
I think we have them.
Okay. We are the people that for the past 10 years, they've been the businesses that they've been talking about tearing down the buildings to. And of course, for us, we would like to have the status quo go as long as possible to be in those buildings. And yet, after looking at the facts, very carefully, we are unanimously for the project. Our buildings will be torn down, but we have great faith in John Bauer. Excuse me. So we've been in business there for 20 years. We've, in order to form our opinion, we thought we needed a little more information. So we read the 39-page report, about the project, and when this GeoWeb project really, really impressed us. We have the Army Corps, 30 years. It was bought by Elco. It's got worldwide distribution. It's got applications in California, national, international, and it's award-winning. So we looked at that and we thought, well, that's really pretty good. Army Corps we really like, but there was New Orleans, Worldwide, what does that mean for our little bluff? Worldwide, is it going to work here? And award-winning, just what exactly does award-winning mean? So we looked around and we found out that it'd be nice to maybe go see one of these systems. Because we were afraid that, gosh, what if you did get the system in and you put all this stuff in and it eroded just like it was explained here earlier, and there's just all these plastic grids. I mean, that would be terrible. So we found out that the system, the GeoWeb system, was used in the city of Carmel. So I called the mayor's office. I missed talking to Clint Eastwood by 10 years. But Leslie did connect me with the Forest and Beach Commission. And so I talked with Stuart Ross there, who's the Public Works Superintendent. I said, Stuart, I'd like to come down and take a look at that. And he kind of laughed, and he says, well, all you'll see is vegetation. And I said, oh, well, speaking of vegetation, we've got a concern about that. Native wild, all of our plants up here, we've got our native plants. And so, he says, well, that's what we have. We have, it's all planted in native plants. And I said, well, did you have a problem with that? And he said, well, no, there was nothing that was really on the endangered species list. And I said, well, it's probably easier down there. He says, no, we've got to go through all the, the Coastal Commission and so on. And I said, well, how long have you had that project? To make sure, how long have you had that project? And he said 15 years. So it's been approved, and he has 7 projects. So it's been approved seven times by the Coastal Commission. We also went on the state level to South Carlsbad, where they have a California Coastal Protection Project. I ended up talking to Andy Bayshore there, who's the chief of maintenance, to ask, well, what is the maintenance here? How does it look? He says, we're very, very happy with it. The maintenance has been nil for the last 20 years. Well, the last 15 years. It was put in 1991. They have their ecologist.
Please finish up.
Yes, okay. So at any rate, it's precedented that the that the system has worked. It's the IA award, the Industrial Fabrics Award. It's gotten that I'm having those people send them that information to me to see if we do in fact put this system in, we might win an award for it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rue de Mulher, followed by Mary Sue Ittner. Okay.
Yes, my name is Bob Rue de Mulher, and I am a director for the Redwood Coast Land Conservancy, the group responsible for constructing, operating, and maintaining the Wallowa Bluff Trail. It appears that the proposed GeoWeb retaining structure will be much more aesthetically pleasing than the previous plan using concrete blocks, but many serious questions remain unanswered about how this project will affect the use and enjoyment of the trail. A letter asking for specific answers was sent to the applicant in late January. We do appreciate the addition of poles to mark the top of the GeoWeb and receiving copies of plans. However, most of the questions we asked have not been answered in spite of follow-up appeals for answers to Rao and Associates. We would like to know why the GeoWeb is needed for the entire expanse of the bluff and not just for the slide areas. We also have questions about the relocation of the septic tanks, the protection for present trail amenities, the amount of time the trail will be closed, the fill that will be added, and about reestablishing vegetation next to and on the easement. We appreciated that we were to be included in a meeting to discuss the restoration plan, but we were disappointed that this meeting has been postponed. If the approval of this application includes the dismantling of the Wallowa Bluff Trail on the applicant's property, RCLC needs to be in charge of when and how the trail is rebuilt. In that case, RCLC requests that a condition be included in the permit that obligates BLP to set aside a performance bond or other financial assurance satisfactory to RCLC that would allow RCLC to rebuild the trail itself. The total amount of money needs to allow for all the labor and professional advice previously provided by volunteers and also the hours spent in establishing the native plants. RCLC cannot count on the volunteer effort crucial to the initial construction of the trail being repeated or on its replacement by the applicant. Finally, if this central part of the trail is to be closed for a period of time during construction, the public for whose benefit the existing trail was created